Good afternoon, everybody. How are you all doing? Thank you for watching another episode of Mika Says Sukas, and I am your host, Niko House. I want to thank you all who joined to our One Follow $1 campaign, and you can join that campaign as well by clicking on that Patreon link in the description below and donating $1. Let's show the mainstream media that if they will not invest in the truth, then we will invest in those who do. If you happen to be shopping on Amazon, you can click on that affiliate link. Go ahead and bookmark that. And that will also help out the show tremendously as well. I want to go ahead and get into it. So many of you all know that Jimmy Dore did go on to the Joe Rogan show very recently. And it was actually a good conversation. And I always tell you, I applaud people who reach out from the left or from the right to the other side to try to gain a bigger understanding or even applaud the commentary they've been doing when it is objective and truthful. As you all know, there's been very few people on really almost the entire left. There's been very few people to actually call the Democrats for what they are, to call out Hillary Clinton and her administration and the whole quote-unquote lesser of two evils, logical fallacies for what it is. And Jimmy Dore is obviously one of those people really spearheading the left as one of the most popular commentators and even letting everybody else know that, hey, I understand that some of our quote-unquote, our counterparts on the left, if you will, may be spitting this nonsense about, it was better to vote for Hillary Clinton. It was, let's ignore everything the Clinton Foundation has done. Let's ignore criminal investigations. Let's pretend like those didn't exist. And just vote for whoever the neoliberal Democrat is in office. Jimmy Dore has been doing a very, very good job of holding the left, the establishment left specifically, the neoliberal left, accountable. And Joe Rogan applauded him on this, which I was very pleased to see. However, Sam Sedar was not pleased to see this. In fact, Sam Sedar decided to trash him on one episode, and Michael Brooks decided to do the same thing. And they both are part of the Majority Report. So let me just say this. Sam Sedar is a Class A asshole. He kind of mimicked the Seth Rich situation, saying that because Jimmy Dore decided to cover a story about someone who died, which Sam Sedar confused for someone who died after the election. No, Sam Sedar, he actually died during the primary. So the general election wasn't even in the rear view yet, nor were we in the midst of it. We were still in the primary when Seth Rich died. And actually, it is appropriate to investigate whether or not the DNC was involved, considering they had a considerable amount of interest in his particular job. I am not even saying that as a political commentator, political pundit, or a political strategist, or anyone who's worked in politics, although I am all of those things. What I am saying that as is an investigator. If I'm investigating a crime scene, be clear, anyone who has who has an interest involved in the murder of a suspect, in the murder of anyone, is now a suspect. That is how criminal investigations work, and it made perfect sense that Jimmy Dore would cover this because this was indeed huge news. He also tries to lambast Jimmy Dore for Jimmy saying, that Donald Trump is clearly, not necessarily the lesser of two evils, but there was not really any major difference between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. And I would tend to agree with him. We want to pretend like DACA wouldn't be in jeopardy if it wasn't for Donald Trump. First of all, DACA is not it's not exactly in the same jeopardy as we would think it is. I've already covered this before. I've said once Israel made it very clear as to what their stance is on DACA, which is they want DACA to remain, Trump is going to play badminton with it. He's going to hit it back and forth to make us think that he's going to get rid of it. However, he is not. Then he will blame the Democrats for it. Then the Democrats, of course, will do the same thing. They'll pretend like Trump wants to get rid of it and they want to fight. However, they will not do anything as well. They have not introduced any legislation whatsoever. And so we need to try to stop pretending that they're actually actively engaged in proposing something substantive to change the status quo in regards to DACA. Now, Michael Brooks specifically really just did a bunch of ad hominem attacks. He said that Jimmy Dore is being dangerous and that he's ill-researched because he says that we should be questioning the Russia narrative, that we should be acknowledging the investigations. If we're going to acknowledge the investigations on Trump's side, which we don't, I have a problem with the investigations, not because of who they're investigating, but because of what they're investigating and the reasons that that investigation exists, which is clearly because of political biases and a political agenda. But when Jimmy Dore acknowledges the investigations on Hillary Clinton, both ongoing and past and potentially in the future, Michael Brooks and Sam Sedar pretend as if this is nonsensical. And it really made me wonder, I'm like, hold on, are these guys, like, do they work for MSNBC? Because they don't even know basic facts about any of the issues they're talking about. All they do is, just complain and complain about how Jimmy Dore isn't saying exactly what they want him to say. And I don't get it. What do you hope to achieve out of this? Everybody keeps saying that, oh, they mostly agree on the same things, and that's fine. And you all know how I preach. We may not have the same solution to get to the same conclusion, but at least I found solace in knowing that the majority of the American public do want the same conclusion. Now, I don't believe that about everybody, and that's what needs to be understood as well. I don't believe that Sam Sedar necessarily wants the same conclusion as us. That is the difference. I think that Sam Sedar is an elitist. I think he is a Clinton apologist. In fact, he even tried to pretend as if Bill Clinton, because he supposedly took some supplies to Puerto Rico and the Caribbean, that we should just forget about all the other provable factual things that the Clinton Foundation did. He tried to exonerate the Clinton Foundation in his rant about Jimmy Dore. He said he could not believe that Jimmy Dore had the audacity to call out the Clinton Foundation on things that we know for a fact, people. We know these things are true. We know for a fact someone right before he was going to go to a proceeding where he was going to speak against the Clinton Foundation in Haiti, Klaus Alberwein, he died. And the odds of this many people dying connected to one person has been done. By the way, check out Richard Sharnin. But it's been done. And it's like 100 billion to 1, people. It doesn't happen ever. And so to pretend like it's just a non-issue is naive. To pretend like political assassinations not only happen, but for the majority of human history, in the history of politics, it was common, and it is common. So let's be clear. Sam Sedar is clearly jealous because, Jimmy Dore's channel is doing absolutely fantastic, and it's because he's been true to himself, he's been true to the progressive movement, and he's been absolutely and totally authentic, even when he has been shunned in some ways by people on the Young Turks, who are his people that he's been friends with for almost a decade. So, once again, I'm glad Jimmy Dore went on the Joe Rogan show, and I want to give a shout out to Joe Rogan, who, like I said, I know leans a little bit to the libertarian left, or to the libertarian right. But for him to invite Jimmy Dore on and have these conversations and not only Jimmy Dore, but he invited Kyle Kalinske as well. It was dope. It was good stuff. And I hope that we see more of that. That reaching across political ideologies and saying, hey, I know we may disagree on some of the solutions, but let's take solace in the fact that we do agree on the same conclusion, and we'll just negotiate how to get there, but understand that we're all on the same side. So thank you all so much for tuning in to Mikasa Sukasa, and always remember, ladies and gentlemen, find your balance. Peace.